Whatever your problems may be, tell someone about them. And those of you who are listening to this and you have somebody explain to you that they're having a miserable time, that they really hate life, that things are not going their way, listen to them and don't judge. Coach Greg, and what exactly is the aftermath of the whole Calum Von Moger situation? Well, I'm here to tell you a lot of positivity. Calum's story has influenced so many people to be more open and honest, to share their feelings, their hardships, what they're going through. And one such example is Kevin from Pure Bullfit, who saw Calum's situation, he saw it unravel, and he could relate strongly. He was in a near identical situation where he felt lost, wanted to no longer be here on this earth. And so we're going to watch the video, comment, and hopefully more people will be able to relate and understand that this problem, it can happen to anyone.
I want to be really clear that I'm not trying to build views or spews for views to capitalize on somebody else's misfortune. I have personal experience.
And so Kevin, he's speaking from personal experience. He went from being a guy that had everything together to no longer wanting to be here. And so he's living proof that this can happen to anyone.
One of the things that really stuck out about this conversation is people asking, how could this happen to someone like him? This could happen to anyone.
And so regardless of your success in life, no matter how good looking you are, no matter how much success you have, no matter how much money, it doesn't prevent you from feeling hopeless, from feeling like you don't want to live anymore, that it's just not worth it, that there's no way out other than to end it.
Unfortunately, I know what that feels like. I know what that headspace looks like. I know what that utter hopelessness feels like. And from the outside, nobody knew.
And so in his situation, it was the same thing. Nobody knew. You can't tell just by looking or how someone's behaving that they're suffering in silence.
So I had my identity and the thing that gave me worth suddenly taken away after about 5 years straight of being exposed to the worst that humanity has to offer.
He had seen the worst of the worst in humanity year after year and sustained a traumatic injury. All this coupled together led to him feeling an identity crisis. He no longer knew what he was all about, did not get the support system that he needs.
And it wasn't just the abrupt life change and transition that exacerbated where I was at so badly. No, it was the stigma of mental illness even in the military.
You might think, oh, they're so accepting. But trust me, even to this day, people are so shy, nervous, scared to open up and tell people the struggles that they're experiencing.
My master guns, who we all loved, got to the point where he was so deeply entrenched in this stigma against mental health that he openly mocked me for spontaneously bursting into tears.
And so imagine being mocked, being made fun of because you open up and cry. Imagine doing that to another human being, yet it happens all the time. And so are we really surprised to find out that there's so many people in secret that are suffering in silence when the fear of opening up will lead them to being ridiculed? And so we might think that there's only a few people out there that are suffering this way. And why do we think that? Because so many people choose not to express themselves. They choose not to say anything. And so when someone suddenly ends things here on this earth, and we question, well, I never knew, I should have known. No, you shouldn't have known. How could you know? They're keeping it to themselves because they're scared to open up.
I asked for help and all I got was ridicule. I went from being the guy that everybody could lean on to feeling like I was utterly alone, and that is when I started to ask whether or not the world was better off without me.
And so imagine, he was the guy that helped everyone else out. And when it was his turn, when he needed help, he was made fun of.
I was an absolute mess. Every single day, I was finding a reason not to unalive myself. Every single day.
And so despite the fact that everyone thought he was happy, that he was having a great time, that nothing was wrong, it was a struggle every single day.
I was waiting for the life insurance to kick in to have an accident. And when the time came, I was too scared, and I chose other ways to destroy my life.
And so thankfully for him, us, for everyone, when the time came to end things, he just couldn't do it. He backed away. He was too scared. But it didn't stop him from choosing other negative things. And for some people, it could be drugs, whether it's performance-enhancing drugs, recreational drugs, drugs of any kind, trying to escape from reality. For others, a life of crime, robbing, stealing, hurting people, who knows? anything but what you should be doing.
So thank God for the timely intervention of people like my friend Jess, who strove to show me that there's still light and laughter and creativity and beauty in the world through all of her artistic endeavors.
And so luckily he had friends, one in particular, that helped him out, talked to him, allowed him to go get counseling, realized that post-traumatic stress, the trauma, all these things led to what he was doing, that the counseling could help him, steer him in the right direction. And so I urge you, if you are suffering from any of these things, if these stories, they sound familiar, or if you don't know what to do, go seek help. Tell a friend, tell somebody. Please don't end things. Life is still worth it. You can, in fact, overcome this.
I don't have a drug problem. Had family members that struggled with addiction, if only so that I never would touch it. Because I promise you, if I had that problem on top of everything else, I would not be here.
And so imagine just how difficult this is. When you perhaps are struggling physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, socially, and add to that addiction, imagine just how more difficult a negative situation can actually be. If those things can get a hold of you and you can't stop, compounded with all the other problems in your life, this may be just the thing that puts you over the edge, the straw that breaks the camel's back.
But I think it's a mistake for people to take a look at guys like Calum and say, oh, he wouldn't do that because his life is so good. It may be because he was struggling. There was no one there to help him.
And so perhaps people are thinking, well, Calum, it's just the drugs. If he hadn't done the drugs, he'd be all good. Was he in fact having problems before the drugs? Was he using the drugs as an escape because he didn't know how to admit or tell people what he was really going through? That everyone would say, but you're a millionaire, you're famous, you're so good looking, you have everything going for you. How could you possibly be suffering? I don't believe you. Or they might make fun of him, ridicule him. Why are you crying? Why are you upset? Grow up. That is the last thing that anyone should ever say to anyone.
I pulled a 15-year-old girl off of the top of a parking garage before she could kill herself. Did I feel great about that? No, I felt awful. And I couldn't figure out why.
Saved her life. Did not feel worthy of being the person to have saved her. The girl's problems, which seems trivial to most people, well, to her, it was life and death, literally. And so just because you're suffering from something small that you don't think is important, that other people can't understand, well, it's not important if they can understand. What's important is you understand it. And so whatever your problems may be, tell someone about them. And those of you who are listening to this and you have somebody explain to you that they're having a miserable time, that they really hate life, that things are not going their way, listen to them and don't judge. Don't mock, ridicule, just listen. Be there for them. Be a lifeline, someone they can share their feelings, their emotions with, and you just have to listen. Just be there, knowing that you're there listening to them. That might be the thing that they need.
You haven't had your last smile. You haven't had your last good day. There is more out there for you, and the world is not better off without you.
And he's not sure if it gets easy over time or if you just get better at dealing with it. But if you have the right people around you, you surround yourself with friends, counselors, and you're proactive and you are open and honest and share what you're feeling, you can handle it. You can deal with it. You can, in fact, get through this. The world is not better without you. The world needs you. They want you here. There's at least one person, one creature on this planet that wants you here. Don't listen to the haters, the people trying to tear you down. They're just haters. It doesn't matter. What's most important, that you love yourself and that you surround yourself with people who care. Hopefully the video helped. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette, IP Pro. Please click the bloops. Watch one of those. And as always, harder than last time supplements, including Turkesterone, the Circle Diet book, the training books, coaching plans by me and my team. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to help the algo. And until next time, I am out.